Tonight, we're going to meet the team. We've really missed all of you guys for the past couple of months, not having our webinars since the April boot camp. So we're just really excited to introduce our zone teams to you this evening, talk about some of the amazing resources that we've put together for an exciting Rotary year, and always love your impact, always love your input. So we do have a couple of housekeeping items. We'll have everybody stay on mute, and if you have a question for this program, please type it in the Q&A section. We'll leave the chat open for you guys to chat amongst yourselves, but if you do have a question for the team, please drop it in the Q&A and we'll try to get to that at the end of the webinar. We have a lot of really great items to cover, so we want to get through them, but hopefully we'll have some time to address any questions. Any questions we don't get to tonight, we'll be sure to respond to via email after the webinar tonight. Thank you all again for making arrangements to attend tonight. If you know anyone who wanted to join but wasn't able to, we are recording this, and a link will go out tomorrow with a link to the recording and some other information on some of the things that we're going to cover tonight. But first, I want to introduce you to the teams. My name is Susan Quarter. I'm the Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zone 34, and I just started my 3-year term on July 1st. I've worked on the team in years past as assistant RPIC on Zone 34. Just really excited to be serving the zone and Rotary in this capacity, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. My home club is the Rotary Club of Lakewood Ranch in Southwest Florida, near Sarasota, Florida, if you know where that is. And I cover District 6890, 6950, and 6960. Each of the members on our teams have their own respective districts that we cover, but we're always all welcome any questions you might have. We're all willing to jump in and help out. So feel free to reach out to any one of us, but we do have those districts that we specifically have identified as areas where we can be a primary resource. As we go through our introductions today, I'm going to ask each of the team members to share their favorite public image tool, or one of their favorites, because I know we have a lot. And one of my favorite public image tools is our Zone 33 and 34 public image team. We have a really dynamic group and a lot of talent and experience on these teams. And it's a really great resource for me, but also for all of the clubs and the districts and Rotarians that are with us tonight. Next on board, I have Sean Patty. Sean, would you like to give a brief intro and tell us what your favorite tool is?
Sure. Thank you very much, Susan. And in case anyone doesn't say it, I'm just going to take the opportunity to say thank you to Marshall for a great 3 years as the immediate past public image coordinator, and especially to Susan and Billy for allowing us to kind of join forces as Zones 33 and 34 starting this year officially, where we're doing everything in a more collaborative nature and, just really kind of coming together as two zones and not really trying to separate too much again, right? We're going to leverage each other's resources, help each other out, help our zones out, help our districts out, help our clubs out. With that being said, so Sean Patty, I'm an ARPIC with Zone 34. My home club is the Rotary Club of Port of Spain and Trinidad and Tobago, which is in the Caribbean. I'm also responsible for the 3 Caribbean districts, which is 7000, 7020, and 7030. And one of my favorite tools for public image is actually I'm gonna just say it out loud. It's the Brand Center. It's something that, any and every member should be heading towards at some point, early on in your Rotary career, middle way through your Rotary career, late in your Rotary career. There's so many great resources there that help us not only be people of action, but get our branding right in any and everything that we do in our clubs. It's not just for our public image chairs. It's for every member to use. It's for every member to learn from. And Susan, if it's okay with that, I'll hand it over to the next ARPIC, which is Michael.
Hello, my name is Michael Wallstrom. I am an ARPIC from District 6930. My home club is downtown Boca Raton, Rotary Club of Downtown Boca Raton. I cover 6930, 6990, and 6980. And when it comes to my favorite tool for public image engagement, it would be, but my background's blurring. It's my iPhone, and I use it for short form video for social media, for Facebook and Instagram and so forth. just to connect with the Rotarians in my district or in the districts I serve, and kind of talk directly to them. It's almost as a way, instead of sending emails, you just put short form video out there, and helps connect all the people that you're trying to work with.
Thanks, Michael. Caroline.
My name is Caroline Blocklinger. I'm an AR PIC for the Zone 34. My home club is the Amelia Island Sunrise Club, and I am serving District 6940 and 6970. Now, when it gets to my PI go-to tools, I got a whole bunch of them, and I pretty much took the team a little bit shaky there before. But for quickly crafting eye-catching posts and social media platform like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, on Twitter, I go usually to Canva because this is really quick and it's user-friendly, and I get a whole bunch of tools out there. When working with WordPress or websites, and I need a pixel perfect image formatted to my preference, I'm usually going to an industry standard called Photoshop. Now, not everybody knows how to do the Photoshop, so but that's just my favorite, one of my favorite tools. For print material like rack cards, brochures, and newspaper advertisement, I rely on InDesign. Now, to put all this together, I need to have a plan, which is a public image plan. And you'll hear more about that later on in this presentation. And with that, we'll go on to Amanda.
Hey, everyone. My name is Amanda Groover, and I am the Rotary Public Image Coordinator for District 6900, 6910, and 6920, which is essentially the state of Georgia. My home club is the Rotary Club of South Pole, which is up in Northeast Georgia, at the very top of Zone 34. And I am privileged to serve some amazing clubs throughout the state of Georgia. And so my personal favorite public image tool is MailChimp, because although we have great databases throughout the entire zones of Rotary, not all databases are the same. And so for us to be able to communicate effectively and efficiently to all of our club members and carry the message, sometimes we have to have a tool that streamlines communication no matter what database you're on. So if you're on DocDB or Club Runner or some creative platform that someone has created, MailChimp allows us to create messages and integrate that message to you no matter what platform that your club or your district is using. And so if you received a message to remind you tonight about this particular webinar, it's because we used MailChimp to send it to you. So with that, I will turn it over to Zone 33.
Yes, we have Billy. He's going to introduce Zone 33's public image team.
Thank you, Susan. I'm Billy Black, and this is my second year as the Rotary Public Image Coordinator in Zone 33, and I'm so excited to be collaborating this year. We've already meshed our social media, and it's been exciting because that's not my forte, but it's really been interesting to watch. My districts that I cover are District 7545, which is all of West by God, Virginia, and 7570, which is a huge swath of Virginia that goes all the way into Tennessee. So as Susan said, we do have districts we're responsible for to create relationships, but anytime you need one of us, we stand ready to work with you. My favorite tool is one I've just learned recently from Sean, and that's the planner in Facebook, which allows me to put a piece out for Facebook, Instagram, and anything else I want and put it out there ahead of time. I can post 4 things that will go out regularly, and they'll go out when I say to go out. So that's really exciting for me. And let's see who's next. Dawn, take it away.
Good evening, everybody. So thank you so much. So my name is Dawn Rochelle, and I have the pleasure of serving in North Carolina at 7710, which is the Raleigh-Durham sort of research triangle area. And then all of South Carolina with 7750 and 7770. I sit in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So in the Southeastern District of 7730. And I would say my newest find, which has become my personal virtual assistant, is ChatGPT. ChatGPT, when I get in I'm sort of stumped. I don't know where to start and I don't know what words to create. I simply open up ChatGPT and I say, create a Facebook post on leadership for Rotary, and something will immediately spit out that I can then go to work and create from that comes out of ChatGPT. So I would say that is my favorite tool that I never thought I would need or use. So next.
Hey guys, I'm Chris Justice. It's awesome to see so many people on tonight. Thank you guys all for being here. I am in the Downtown Greensboro Club in District 7690, and I serve basically the western half of North Carolina for districts 7670, 7680, and 7690. My favorite tools, I love working in video, so I work a lot in iMovie. And I'm also growing, pretty happy with some of Canva's Canva Pro's video tools. Specifically, I like the video editing, background removal, the splicing tool, as well as the GIF creator. So I'll pass it on to the next one.
And I'm going to introduce Taylor. She had to work at her real job where she actually earns money, and so she begged off tonight, but Taylor is actually the daughter of Dawn that you just met. So we have a mother-daughter team, but she doesn't live near her mother. She lives in the district where Chris Justice is, and she's in a digital club. So she is in Ending Child Abuse in North Carolina, and her districts are on the coast of North Carolina, so 7720 and 7730. And she is my young person that I go to for, what's going on in the world. Felicia is also absent, and she may not finish out the year with us, as she is a brand new DGN and is finding herself extremely busy. So we may need to replace her, but she's in Ambridge, PA, and her districts are 7305, 7280, and 7360. So we're hoping that she can finish out a little more time. Felicia, are you there?
I've been here for some time now. I just been on mute.
See you, Felicia, go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Felicia Maisik, and I, like she said, I'm the district governor nominee. However, I'm very energetic and I love to do all things Rotary. When it comes down to, my districts I cover is Pennsylvania, so southwestern Pennsylvania, so Pittsburgh Steelers, let's go all the way up to Erie, to the Great Lakes. So I'm the whole western portion of Pittsburgh. When it comes down to social media tools, or just public image tools, I'm real big with communicating with news organizations. So I love when it comes down to email and text messages, because I like to communicate directly with the news organizations. So media contacts are very big in my world. The next portion, just for the social media people, the other tool I love to use is anything that cross promotes. So when it comes down to posting, we don't want to post on Facebook and then go to Instagram and then go to LinkedIn. We want a tool that will allow us to make one thing and it'll post on everything for us. So I love anything that cross promotes. So you can use Hootsuite, Buffer. Instagram allows you to promote on Facebook. Facebook allows you to promote on LinkedIn or on Instagram. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you were there, Felicia. Yay.
Hey, everybody, I'm Hamilton Holloway. I am in the Rotary Club of West Richmond, Virginia, and that's in District 7600. I'm also the District Public Image Chair for 7600 and also cover 7610, 7620, and 7630. All of the districts that touch the Chesapeake Bay, so around DC, Maryland, and Virginia. In there. And what I like to use, one is just the phone, picking up the phone and talking to people and coming up with ideas. is sometimes the easiest way to get things done rather than try to communicate by email or things like that. So I like picking up the phone. I'll say the other thing that I use sometimes is Muck Rack, which is a media database. It's an easy way to call reporters that we may need for bigger or smaller markets.
Excellent. Thanks, Hamilton. And we have another member who's not on our team, but Marshall has spent a lot of time and effort, energy putting together an amazing team, an amazing program, and we're fortunate to still have him around. And Marshall, can you introduce what your new role is going to be?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that introduction, Susan. So I am going to be working with Jeremy, Director Jeremy Hurst, and he has named me the Director of Communications for Zones 33 and 34. And so just like we have a membership action plan and we have a foundation action plan, we're now going to put together a communications action plan. So thinking about the ways that we communicate to our stakeholders, the Rotarians in our zones, and the methods that we do that. So working with a small team right now, we're going to grow this team and think about all the people, processes, and tools that we use to communicate and how we can be more effective in getting our message out. So I was looking at our list of things that everyone, their favorite PI tools are Team, Brand Center, iPhone, Canva, MailChimp, Facebook Planner, ChatGPT, iMovie, traditional media, automation tools. These are, boy, you guys are speaking my love language. I love all this stuff. But I can tell you that my favorite public image tool, it's kind of geeky, but I think it's our brains and our creativity. Without that, we can't make any of this stuff happen. We see people using marketing and communications techniques. We take those ideas and we leverage these tools to make really great stuff happen. So I think all of us have a pretty powerful public image tool right up here and shouldn't be afraid to use it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marshall. We're going to talk a little bit now before we get into some of our tools and resources. I want to introduce you to our zones. And like you've heard a few people mention earlier on this evening, we're so happy and fortunate to have Zones 33 and 34 collaborating this year. Billy and Marshall have done some projects together in the past, but we've still operated in our own silos to some extent. And this year we're combining webinars. We have some other exciting announcements. If you haven't heard already, you'll hear tonight. And there's just a lot of excitement, and it opens up opportunities for us to be an even bigger resource to you. So who are Zones 33 and 34? We have 1,700 Rotary and Rotaract clubs that are in our zones, 1,700 that our team is helping cover. Let's bump that number up to 70,000 Rotarians and Rotaractors across our zones. When I saw these statistics, I knew it was large, but it's mind-boggling to think that our team is representing these zones with 70,000 plus members. It's very, very exciting. 30 countries, 4 languages, and a wide variety of dialects. So I go back to 70,000 Rotarians and Rotaractors, and you see some astounding numbers up here. And these are just our 2 zones. We all know what an amazing and huge organization Rotary is, but our team there is at the bottom. We have a dozen people, 12 people, who are helping assist 70,000 or more people. So we are pretty stretched and limited on our resources, but we want to be a resource for you. Keeping this in mind, so you see the global and the broad geographic area and the broad audience that we're covered. If we're not responsive right away, please let us know, anything you need. We will get back to you with an answer. If it's not right away, it will be soon. But always keep us in your Rolodex and keep us as a resource. And we look forward to continuing the service to you this year and the coming years. I had to throw this slide in there because pretty much every webinar you're going to hear us talk about, we at least mention branding. It is so important. And I still see clubs and districts, unfortunately, out there that are using improper branding. And when we say the old wheel, it's kind of redundant. As Marshall likes to say, I think right now, if the new Rotary logo was a preschool or a child, they would be in 4th grade by now. I have a 4th grader and she's 10 years old, about to turn 11. And that's about when they released this new brand standards. So if you're seeing those old blue and gold logos on any of your channels, please go to the Brand Center, download the correct logos, protect our mark of excellence, protect our brand's integrity, and help us keep the Rotary brand strong and alive. Some of you might remember Sheila Bethel. She is served as Zone 34 Rotary Public Image Coordinator, actually when I was an assistant RPIC. And yes, she has a Rotary Police costume. You will not find us running around in these costumes, however. We are not the Rotary Police. We are brand champions. We're brand coaches, and we want to empower you at the club and district level to be brand champions as well. Utilize those resources on the Brand Center. Promote Rotary, promote your club, promote your district, but do it using the proper branding. Now, you might get some emails from us every now and then if we do come across some use of the improper branding. You might get an email or a note from us just with some suggestions on how you can improve, but we're always going to direct you back to the Brand Center. A good rule of thumb to follow: if you didn't download your club or district logo from the Brand Center, it's not proper branding. If you're having to snip the word Rotary and add your club text into there and copy and paste the Rotary wheel from a Google search and piece together your Rotary logo so it looks proper, then it's not the right logo. Go to the Brand Center. You don't even have to log in anymore. It's really easy to access, brandcenter.rotary.org. Just bookmark it on your search engine, and you can create a logo in less than 5 minutes. Once you've used it a few times, you can probably do it in less than a minute. And there are all different formats available. Again, we're not going to get into that too deep tonight, but there's so many great resources on the Brand Center. Just make sure you're using them properly. We are going to have a webinar in September with a guest speaker. Her name is Liz, and she works with RI, and she's developed the One Club, One Voice video, if you guys have seen that. And I know it was in the waiting room. She's developed that. She's going to be our guest speaker in September, and she's going to talk about some new resources that are available with branding and just give some more tips and suggestions for clubs and districts who are trying to follow those guidelines. I had the opportunity, Billy and I, to be on a webinar for some incoming governor training last week, and a fellow Rotary Public Image Coordinator, Philip Dyer from the UK, shared a slide similar to this. And I wanted to pop it into the deck tonight because it shares a very powerful image. It's a nice graphic here. You see all of these logos from organizations that are well known around the country and even around the world, and they're easily identifiable. And then look at Rotary's wheel there, the blue and gold. And that's the old mark of excellence for any of you who might be wondering when I say the old logo. That's the old logo. You should be using the all gold mark of excellence, but it should always be identified as the Rotary master brand. So look at the wheel there, and then look at the Rotary logo in this slide. I'll go back for a second. Rotary is not easily identified. It's not a strong, powerful brand in this slide. But when we use the Rotary master brand correctly, it stands out even amongst some of these other very strong and well-known organizations. So that visual there is just a perfect example of why we should be using the correct master brand on all of our channels. And when I say the master brand, it's the Rotary with the wheel, but we also need to make sure we're adding our club or district signature. So anytime you have a project or an event, a fundraiser coming up, it's not the Rotary Wine Festival or the Rotary Walk or the Rotary Environmental Project. Any project that you're having should be identified as the Rotary Club of or the Rotary District of. The project should be identified to your club or district, not just using the master brand. So last view through those slides, please make sure you're using the correct master brand. Now let's hop into some of the fun stuff. The exciting announcement that I alluded to earlier is that if you're a member of Zone 34, you've probably participated in the public image citation, Zone 34 public image citation in the past. New and exciting this year, thanks to a lot of effort on both of our teams' parts, we're able to launch the Zone 33 34 public image citation. So Sean and Marshall have, really done a great job at setting this up, and the team in the past. We're so excited that they have been able to add the clubs in Zone 33. So if you haven't heard about the citation, go to elevaterotary.org. All of the tasks are on our website. And the first 3 tasks are really important because they lay the foundation for a successful Rotary year. The citation should be used as a roadmap to success. It has bite-sized tasks that you can accomplish throughout the year. And if you do a culmination of all of the tasks, you'll have a successful Rotary year in the end. And it really makes facilitating your public image efforts all the more easier. The July task that should be completed this month, and it's been open actually for a couple of months, I believe, is the public image audit. So we want you to go do a complete audit of your club. Look at both branding, but also look at the channels that you have out there. A lot of clubs, and I did a study on just my specific district a couple years ago, I found 5 out of 54 clubs that had 2 Facebook accounts. So if you do a quick search for your club on Facebook or even a Google search, you might find some old zombie accounts that are out there that haven't been used for several years. You need to try to get those down. The other portion of the audit that we want you to take a look at is the branding. Are you using the right branding? If you're using that old blue and gold Rotary wheel, let's get that updated. And I have been asked before by clubs and districts if you can use the Mark of Excellence as a Facebook picture. You can use it as your profile picture, but you have to have that Rotary master brand somewhere in the cover, somewhere in the vicinity of that wheel. So yes, you can use the wheel, the Mark of Excellence, as your logo, because sometimes it is hard to see in that little Facebook profile circle, the entire name. But make sure you have your club, the master brand with your club signature somewhere else that's identifiable at the header of that page. So go through, do your audit. The other thing I'll just recommend looking at when you're doing the audit of your social channels is look to see if there's any pages you haven't been engaging in. So if you're using Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, if you're using a lot of platforms, but you're only active on, let's say, Facebook and Instagram, go back and evaluate your resources and your bandwidth and see if you're going to be able to continue those old channels that you're not active on. If you're going to be able to build them into your plan and stay active on them, then definitely leave them up and use them as a way to reach your audience. But if you're not going to stay active, then there's no use having them up. We want to make sure you're engaging with your audience. We've all come across this before. Look, there's Marshall. You've been in a coffee shop or at a conference, a waiting room, or the airport somewhere, and you've seen people on their phones. I think I've been at family events when my siblings and I are all sitting around on our phones, and I'll text my brother, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm literally on the couch next to him. People are always looking for content. They're always checking their social feeds to see what's new, to see what they can interact with. So stay active on your social channels.
Social media,
That's courtesy of Marshall too. Stay active on your social channels and make sure someone is assigned or several people are assigned to respond to inquiries on your social channels too. That's also really important. If you have an event that's coming up and you have people who are asking about tickets or where they find information and nobody's responding, then that's more of a negative. You need to make sure you're engaging with those audiences as well. And one last thing I will say about the social media accounts and any accounts, your webmaster, any access to these accounts should be shared by a team, not just one individual, because if that person takes a leave of absence or moves away, or we've had situations where people have left a club disgruntled and not released that access information. It's really hard sometimes, challenging to get access to the website or social accounts if that happens. So make sure you have multiple people with access to those. So once you complete your audit in August, we're asking you to put together a public image plan. So develop out content for the year. As you're doing this, I would recommend getting together with your membership committees and your foundation committees and your service project committees and find out what they're doing and what they have planned for the throughout the year so that you can help boost their efforts. Public image is a great tool, but working in collaboration with the other teams makes it all that much more stronger. So work with those when you're putting together your public image plan, and make sure you're identifying areas of opportunity to help promote your club, grow membership, develop new partnerships, etc. And then we have our content calendar. So that's the third of the 3 foundational tasks that you really need to complete early on in the year. So we spaced them out over the first 3 months. The content calendar is exactly that. It's developing content. The public image team for Zone 34 had a webinar on cool content last year. You can check that out for suggestions of what to include in your content calendar. We also have sample plans, sample PI plans, and sample content calendars on our website, which I'll share in just a moment. So if you haven't been to elevaterotary.org to check out some of those resources, they're helpful too. Go ahead and get your September task started now so you can build and develop on it throughout the year. And another exciting announcement that our teams are working on is launching a public image citation at the district level. So I've had some district public image chairs come and say, I don't know how to get started on the task, or where are they? And it's because we don't currently have one, but we will be launching it hopefully within the next month or so. It's going to have a little bit different criteria than the club public image citation. So the one that we've been talking about is at the club level, and it's usually presented as an award at the district conference by the governor at the end of the year. The district citation will have slightly different criteria and likely be announced at the end of the year at our seminars. So look for more information on that coming soon. And I want to go through a few of our zone resources. If you've been attending our webinars, then you've seen some of the resources that have been made available to public image chairs and district public image chairs and Rotarians in general. Our committee really strives to put together resources that can help a broader audience. I know we're helping 70,000 plus Rotarians, but we really are trying to put together resources that can benefit any Rotarian who wants to participate. I know that I can, without seeing the registration list or who the participants are right this second, I could say without a doubt that we have people outside of our zone who are on this webinar tonight. So thank you for attending, and you're more than welcome to spread the love around the world. The more the merrier. But we have some resources that we're continuing to develop that we want all Rotarians to be aware of. elevaterotary.org is our primary website for all of these resources. Marshall, Sean, and now Caroline has had a lot of impact, and they've put a lot of energy into putting together a phenomenal website. You can visit our website for some of these resources you see on the screen here. Very newly launched is the Rotary Public Image Calendar, which you can subscribe to sync to your own calendar. It has our webinars on there. It has the reminders for the monthly citation task. It also has the monthly themes, which are new this year. Rotary International has made some modifications to the monthly themes this year. You can sync those to your calendar, and you don't have to go looking it up on any Google search or RI site. It's right there on your calendar and shows up. So check that out. We also have, as I mentioned, the public image citation task. You can view the criteria for the task and submit the task all on elevaterotary.org. And we are in the process of updating the tracking mechanism. So if it gets to December and you don't know if you've completed some of the tasks, a club can go visit the elevaterotary.org website, view what task they have submitted. There will be a check mark under each month, and they can view which ones are open. If you're a district public image chair and you want to gauge how many of your clubs are participating in the citation, you can view that information there as well. Of course, we have our monthly webinars. We have a huge library of recorded webinars, demo videos that our team has been putting together. We have the public image AMA sessions coming up, and that's something that we recently launched in conjunction with Zones 33 and 34. Billy and her team have been doing these at least for the last year, and we've decided to combine efforts on that. So these Ask Me Anything sessions, you can hop on and ask us anything, ask the experts. And then toolkits, resources, and you can join our mailing list as well. There's also a contact form on the website. If you want to get in touch with our team members, you can fill out a contact form on our website, and your questions will be routed to the appropriate team member who's covering your area or district. Like, join, follow, share. These are all the channels that we're on. So if you're engaging in any of these social platforms, make sure you are following the Zone 33, 34 channels as well. We have, there's Rotary TV that we just combine resources again on the from Zones 33's YouTube channel. We have our Vimeo channel, LinkedIn, Instagram. So the Facebook, if you haven't been to Zone 33, 34's Facebook page, we just launched this, and it was mentioned earlier that Sean really took this on as a huge undertaking. We had a 33, 34 Facebook group that was, we call it the Wild Wild West, because clubs were posting from around the world, not just their zones, content all day long, all day, every day. And it was hard to direct our messaging from the zone level. So Sean has built a team has a very structured Facebook page, and then routed all of the groups to the Facebook groups on the page. So there's groups on membership, PI, foundation, in Polio Now. So there's an array of different groups you can follow to get content and interact in and post your events and content. But then our Facebook page has a lot of great information. It's a great resource. ElevateRotary.org. You're going to hear us talk about that website all the time, because that's really our primary point of communication, and where we host all of these resources and information. And then email us anytime. I wanted to drop this slide in here because we have gotten some comments from clubs saying my social channels aren't active they're not accurate on the website. What we do in July is we collect, if you filled out the citation, you know that we collect your social media links to your channels, to your pages, and we update that on our elevaterotary.org website. Sean might have taken it down because he got tired of all the questions, but it will go back up fairly soon. So you can go in and follow other clubs in your district and around our zones as well. And I'm going to turn it now over to Billy to talk about some of our upcoming events.
Thanks, Susan. That was a lot. We have quite a few things coming up. So take your pencil and your piece of paper and jot down dates so you can watch for these things. AMA is Ask Me Anything. So we'll all be on the call, and you can ask us questions about Canva or the Facebook planner or how we did something, and we'll try to lead you through that. We've also had people that from the audience say, I had this great idea about our World Polio Day, and this is it. And we all fed off of that. So Ask Me Anything is a great opportunity for us to just get together and share. Coming up is the World Polio Day, and Zone 34 has taken the lead, and they have offered to bring in the polio experts from Zone 33, which is Bernie Rydell and Colleen Bonadonna. So they'll be introduced there, and you'll see that John Jerem will be speaking, and I think that several other people are just going to talk for a brief time. But Michael is going to tell how to host a great polio event. So this is one you don't want to miss, August 28th at 6 p.m., of course, and you go to elevaterotary.org to sign in and register.
Marshall, you have some explaining to do.
Did he do that with his sneakers?
Okay, we'll move on.
Some of you may have heard of MAP. If you have not, this is your introduction to it. It's Membership Action Plan. And they took a page from Marshall's book, because Marshall's the one that started this bite-sized pieces of information for public image and how to be successful. So MAP, membership, is doing bite-sized pieces of information, usually 2 or 3 every month. And if you attend them all, you'll find that your club will become more vibrant and that you'll actually have a plan. And you'll notice that they start with the first 3, get a club membership chair, get your team, and then make a plan. And so the first one is on August 14th at 6 p.m. and you register for that on DACTV. And we're going to unlock membership opportunities with our team and our plan. what we'd like you to note, if you go to elevaterotary.org, there's a contact us, and you can invite us to speak to your district or club. So use that opportunity, or just any of us can field by phone or by email. Let us know what you'd like. Now, remember, we each had different districts that we were supporting, but if you heard something from somebody else that you'd like to have them speak to your club, we could come virtually and teach that. Our budget is not such that I could send Hamilton to the islands, I'm sorry, but but please invite us and we'll do the best we can to meet all those needs.
And I do want to reiterate that on our website, you can fill in that form and contact us, and it will be directed to the appropriate team member. So even if you're not sure who the team member is that's covering your district or your club, you can fill in that form online and it will go to the appropriate person. At the least, somebody will get back to you. I think one of the biggest reminders at this point is we need to know who you are. We need to know who the membership chairs are, and the public image chairs, and the foundation chairs. And we primarily use DAC-DB to do that. The non-DAC-DB clubs or districts can put that input that into My Rotary, or Sean's our guru down in his area and has done a phenomenal job of pulling together the contact list. But we need to know who you are, and we're not going to spam you. We're not going to blast you with emails on a regular basis. We typically send out 2 on average a month, announcing the task and the webinars and any new resources that we've come up with. But if we don't know who you are and you're not in our MailChimp system, you're not in DAC-DB, then we can't contact you. So get your club leaders, your district leaders entered into DAC-DB. And if you're not receiving our monthly emails, please let us know, and you can go directly online and subscribe to our list. That was what I remembered to remind them about. And we actually have some time to just wrap up, allow you guys to ask any questions you might have. Really, with regards to the next step, I want to encourage you, like Billy said, the team is so important. Put together your team, put together your goals, start completing those public image citation tasks. And we have so much momentum, so much energy. Our team is really, really excited to work with you this year. Utilize us and please help us keep that momentum going. We're excited at our level. We hope you're excited at your district and club levels, but we need the Rotarians. We need each and every Rotarian to have that level of excitement too, so we can go forth and have a really successful year. We talk a lot about sharing our Rotary story. I talk to clubs pretty frequently on how to do that. And one of my messages when I speak to the clubs is to say, it's not just the public image chair's responsibility. It's not just the president's responsibility. It's each and every one of you as a Rotarian. Whether you use social media or you talk to a fellow member who hasn't been to a meeting in a while or missed an event, and just engage with them in a conversation about what they missed and let them know, that we all have our Rotary stories to share, and we need to continue that momentum and excitement and continue sharing those stories. So with that, I think I have one more shameless plug, and then we'll open up the Q&A. Marshall has it.
Marshall would like to get rid of all of the clothing in his house that has Rotary logos on it.
Yeah,
So-
we still have some shorts and some skirts left. So if you want to really look like a person of action, check out that QR code and pick up a skirt or a pair of shorts.
As long as I'm Marshall, I finally got my skirt about 2 weeks ago.
And I think Sean has got some questions in the Q&A that he's ready to answer.
Well, not so much answer, but ask the team. How about that? I mean, unless everybody wants me to answer all the questions, that's fine too. Okay, so I actually have something that somebody posted in the chat box, and I think it's worthwhile bringing up here. And essentially, they were asking about, should they get Canva? Should they just use the free version of Canva, or should they, pay for an upgraded version of Canva like Canva Pro? And I know one of the suggestions that was made in the chat box was, one of the things Rotary clubs can do is apply for Canva for nonprofits, which is 100% free. So I just wanted to give an opportunity to the team to give any additional comments or information with regards to that in terms of a best practice and a best approach.
Even if you have to pay for it, I think it's around $120 a year, something like that. So it's not a huge investment, and it opens up a lot more tools and resources. Even just the inventory of photos and videos and audio that you can use is worth it to me. But there's a lot of other tools. I think someone mentioned the background eraser as one of their favorite tools. That's available in the pro account. If your club, if you can file as a nonprofit, you will get the pro account for free. But if not, it's worth considering that investment. Thanks for whoever. Thank you to whoever asked that question.
I'll say the
like
pro
that.
also allows you to add up to 4 other people to your pro account, so that you can share, like if you have a team, a club team or a district team that wants to use that Canva together, it's a great opportunity to share those resources and see what others have done and what's been created, and create that kit in there of the Rotary brand colors that you can share.
Absolutely. It saves a lot of time. Any other questions that you noted, Sean?
Yeah, for sure. So I think an important one is somebody asked, can more than one person complete and submit the monthly tasks for the citation?
Do you want to go with that one since you've probably seen it happen?
Sure, I can answer it. So it's always better if one person completes and submits the form for each monthly citation. However, there may be occasions where you need information from other people in your club just to kind of make sure that you're entering the right thing into the form. What's great is when you submit, even if it's not complete, you can submit the form. A confirmation email will come to the email address that you indicate in the form. There's a link in that confirmation email that allows you or anyone else to go back and edit the form. So even if, let's say person A starts the form and then submits it, but they know some of the information may not be 100% accurate, when they get the confirmation email after submitting the form, they can share that link in the confirmation email with whomever else, and then person B can go and edit it and put in more accurate information. So that's kind of a way around it. But the suggestion is that, it should always really be one person putting all the information together and submitting the form. That's kind of the better practice, if nothing else. I do have another question here. It's kind of relevant, and I know it's a bit of a contentious issue, but I'll still bring it up. The old wheel is being used as metal signs as you enter into towns and cities. Can that be replaced with the Mark of Excellence? I'm assuming they mean the new logo, or should something else be used? I guess the whole question is from a branding perspective, how do we phase out more, tangible versions of the old brand, right? So whether it's an old signage and just old kits and whatnot that people and clubs may still have, but it's obviously much more of an expense to get rid of it than it is to keep it around. So I think that's something we can try and help address and help clubs out with, if anybody wanted to chime in with suggestions.
Well, I think especially you have to think about the image overall, and if you have faded signs or materials that aren't really powerfully branding, showing the Rotary brand, then they should be updated anyway, and use that opportunity as a chance to use the new logo.
I've seen so many signs on the sides of roads that look horrible. And then you also see the Lions Club and the Kiwanis and the Civitans and the Optimists, and they're all equally bad. So think about if you put a brand new Rotary logo right in the middle of all that, how that's going to pop. I mean, and I think on Russell Hampton, a new Rotary sign is $125, $150. So I think that should be a top initiative for every club that needs a new Rotary sign.
Thanks, guys. I have one more kind of cool question here. So essentially it's Susan mentioned that we should refer to our clubs as the Rotary Club of blah, 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 I guess when we're doing up new logos or whatnot in the brand center. So the question here is, specifically, this is from Barbara Howard, and her name of her club is Fishhawk Riverview Rotary, with the Fishhawk Riverview, which I guess she's putting it above the Rotary name. And then she wanted to know if they can call themselves Fishhawk Riverview Rotary and drop the word club altogether, you know, and not necessarily have that in their new club logo. So I guess the real question is pertaining to number one, do you have to have the word club in the logo? And number two, you know, how best to orient your club name within the logo, whether you put everything on top or some of it at the bottom, everything at the bottom, some of it on top. There are different ways to approach it. So if anybody has any good suggestions or whatnot, that might help Barbara out.
We've actually heard from the public image, our public image person that helps us. And that's one of the things that they told us, that club does not have to be in it. If you call yourself Franklin Rotary, that's okay. And you can decide if you want to put it above or below. And in Brand Center, it allows you to do that, put it above or below. And you type the word club in. So if you choose not to name your club that way, and if everybody knows your club by just Franklin Rotary, then do it like that. Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable now.
It does need to be consistent though, so make sure that it's consistent across the board. And the majority of clubs are the Rotary Club of, but understanding that they aren't all formatted that way. Just make sure it's being used consistently across all of your media and your channels. Even when you're typing it out, it's really important for a brand to be identified in a consistent manner. If you have joint projects too, you can do clubs of like Florida, for example. So there is some flexibility. If you have questions when you're in the Brand Center coming up with the logo, just feel free to reach out to any of us and we can help guide you on best practices. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing. The Brand Center also provides a few guidelines as well as a tutorial video on creating a club logo, and I just put it into the chat box for everybody. It's actually a pretty good video, and it kind of helps tell you, you know, how to orient your club name, what's a good way to do it, what's not a good way to do it. Also, whether or not, you know, some clubs, what they're doing now is in addition to their club name, they're including their district or their zone or whatnot. And a lot of that is completely unnecessary and taking up a lot of valuable space within your club logo. There are a couple exceptions to the rule as to if you should or shouldn't include things like your district number or maybe even your city or country. Usually RI will tell you if you're an exception to the rule and what to do. In most cases, it's absolutely not necessary to include your district or your zone or your city or your country into your club name. Just plain old Rotary Club of blah, blah, blah is good enough.
Thank you, Sean. Any other questions? And feel free to raise your hand. If you just go to the reactions button and click raise hand, it'll pop you up to the top of the screen and we'll ask you to unmute to ask a question. Elizabeth looks like has a question. Go ahead if you want to unmute.
Sure. I think it's important to explain to people, especially people the first time registering for an event, if you don't have DACDB, how you have to register if you're using Club Runner. I know a few years back, David Stovall and I spent a couple of weeks trying to figure it out. He tried to give me a DACDB. Here in the Caribbean, we don't use DACDB. So you actually, well, I can just say, when you're registering, you have to register as a guest, not as a Rotarian. But then a screen or two later, you get to put in that you are a Rotarian in your district. So if you're not in DACDB and you're using Club Runner, register as a guest.
Well, Marshall just put in the chat to remind you that for these webinars, we're always registering at elevaterotary.org.
But it still takes you to DACDB. That's where I register, and I still have to register.
Marshall, correct me if I'm wrong, but it.
So we have our events on the DACDB calendar, but even in the DACDB calendar, it will take you to elevaterotary.org to register. So any public image webinars, you'll register through Elevate Rotary. It bypasses DACDB. However, the public image team is the only team that's using that. So if you're registering for a foundation event or a membership event, they're still using the DACDB module. And yes, you are correct, Elizabeth. You do have to sign up for as a guest, register as a guest of the district or zone. But for any public image ones, which, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and say are the important ones, you'll register on elevaterotary.org.
Okay.
And again, if you have trouble registering or you can't find your club, just shoot us a quick email and let us know. Jane, did you want to unmute and ask a question?
Thank you. I'd also put it in the chat, but I just did. In terms of the club logo consistency, we usually put our club name under the word Rotary in the logo. Rotary Club of Asheville, Biltmore. But we wanted to make the club logo also our profile picture on our Facebook page, and that goes into a circle. So the only way we could figure out how to do that was to put the name of the club above the word Rotary and the word club beneath it. And that's not consistent with the way we normally display our logo. And I was just wondering, is that a no-no?
I would err towards the consistency and you can use the mark of excellence as your profile picture and have the correct club logo in the cover photo. So do some sort of graphic.
Just have the wheel?
Yeah, you can have just the wheel. And actually, our Liz at RI is the one who made that recommendation. And if there's one that's a brand guru, I'm going to go back to Liz with any questions. So yeah, you can use the wheel and then it shows up very prominently in that profile picture, but make sure you have that correct usage of the master brand with your club signature, the way it's formatted on all of your publications. Have that in the graphic that is your Facebook cover.
Yeah, that's our cover photo.
Okay.
So, great. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for the question. Kimberly, do you want to unmute and ask us your question?
Sorry, Susan, before we unmute Kimberly, I just wanted to add something to Jane's point. Jane, if you're having trouble using the image as the profile picture for your social media, sometimes you just need to reshape or crop the image so that it's a square instead of a rectangle for it to work best. Yeah. So in case you hadn't done that, or in case anybody, the image that the brand center gives you is more of a rectangular shaped image and a lot of dead space usually to the left of the logo. So if you crop it and make it into a square, social media, especially for profile pictures in social media, it'll take it a lot better and it'll look a lot cleaner than any other way. Yeah. Sorry, Kimberly, go ahead.
Great idea. I'm going to interrupt really quickly too, and just remind you, if you're using Imagine Rotary as your Facebook profile picture or anywhere on your social channels, take it down because that theme ended this past year, and try to remember that the theme, and there's guidelines on using the theme correctly, but it should be used primarily for internal communications. So check that when you're doing your audit. Okay. I promise, Kimberly, it's your turn now.
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Rotarians. My name is Kimberly, and I am from the Rotary Club of Georgetown, Guyana, District 7030. And I just have an inquiry. So previously, when creating content, we would carry our club logos, any team logos, the district logo. Is the placement or the use of the Rotary theme logo still permitted for Rotary clubs? That is to create hope in the world. Are we still allowed to use that along with the Rotary brand logo?
Yes, you can use the theme logo. It's really more of where you're using it. So if it's on, and just a quick and easy tip is to use it on internal communications. So anything that's going to other Rotarians and members of your club or district is where it's more appropriate, maybe an internal newsletter. But if you're sending it out to the general public, think how confusing it might be, when we're trying to really brand Rotary and we're changing our logo every year, because that's not really our logo, it's the theme. You know, it can create more confusion and not a unified brand if we're sending that to external audiences who don't understand the meaning of it. So yes, you can use it with your club logo, like in a lockup format, but just consider where you're using that. I hope that answered your question. If not, maybe rephrase it and I'll respond again.
All right,
So-
thank you so much. It certainly did. That was only one of my main concerns, because we had that issue being raised, and we just wanted to ensure that when we create content and we share it on our social media, even if it's something that targets the wider like outsiders versus internally, we just wanted to know if it would have been an issue to use. So thank you so much.
I want to thank everyone for attending tonight. Thank you for the questions and the comments. I saw the chat was very active. And again, thank you to our teams for everything you did in preparing for tonight. If you have any other questions that we didn't get to, please put them in the Q&A or shoot us an email on that contact, or use the contact form on elevaterotary.org. We will get back to you with responses. I appreciate all of this engaged conversation tonight. Look for our next webinar. Join us in the AMA session. I have a feeling after tonight it's going to be very lively, but I look forward to seeing you guys and working with you throughout the year. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.